because we didn't see any.
Yeah.
Sometimes mama would be like, you got to go to sleep, boy, because your uncle coming over, and that ain't your uncle. That you got lying. The uncle such and such coming over, and that ain't. And then you grow up thinking that's your uncle and that was your mama's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so we wasn't. That's not what we saw in growing up, and so it continues. That generational curse continues throughout the relationships of our lives.
Yeah.
But somebody got to put a stop to it. Somebody.
That's what he said in the beginning. He said somebody ought to stand up.
Somebody got to say, "Hey, this is it for my bloodline," and start teaching the little men how to be little men and the little women how to be little women.
That's right.
And don't they just compromise just to be in a relationship? Compromise with your standard. Just because he got 2 legs or maybe 3. Don't mean he's husband or boyfriend worthy.
I call him breath and britches. Don't matter that he got breath and britches. Okay?
I mean, he ain't got to be a doctor, but he got to be able to do something.
Yeah.
Besides
I love this part. I love the biblical side of it because this makes so much sense to me. You know, if you are a woman of God and you're trying to live right, but you get with someone who is not. And this is already setting off what your purpose is.
I left that part for you.
For your life.
They log off.
But he said that Eden was a place or a spot.
Right.
Where the presence of God lived. So if Eden was a place or a spot where the presence of God was, it said Adam walked with God in the cool of the day, meaning he was in his presence every day. That's where Eve found him, right?
In his presence.
So it said, he said, don't ever date a man who doesn't like the presence of God because he can't properly lead you. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. But if you look at it biblically, if you look at your relationship and you see that, oh my God, if you can't get this man to come to church, you can't get him to pray with you when you're having prayer, if you can't get him to go on a fast or watch the word of God, think about it. He said, don't ever date a man who doesn't like the presence of God, especially if that's what you represent. If you live in God's presence, please tell me how this go together. You're laying out in prayer. You're fasting. You're reading your word. You're attending church service. But then you have a man who does the opposite of everything you love. Please tell me where that makes sense.
Tune in to The Preacher's Corner. Brought to you by In-House Productions with your host Pastor JT and Lady Fanita. You can listen to this podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify and Amazon Music.
This is an In-House production. This is an In-House production.